had what it takes to get to the level of hopefully playing first team football. But once you actually get there and you knock on the door on that, it's a hard step up, and it was difficult. It took me a lot longer than I actually anticipated. When I left Rangers at 18, I signed for Rangers. Signed for Dumbarton after that, and I just presumed, obviously going from good academy standard to Dumbarton were in the championship at the time, but part time obviously, and I just thought it'd be a lot easier than it actually was. And I got a reality check when I started playing men's football, and it did take me a lot longer. It took me a year, and I signed for Clyde. It took me. I only made 10 first team appearances, and truthfully honest, probably wasn't ready at that age. So I always thought I was capable of doing it, but it just took a lot longer than I expected. But it's just important to stay focused and be ready when that opportunity does come around. But yeah.
So you had no self.
What's that? Sorry.
So you had no self-doubt when you weren't getting picked?
Oh yeah, of course. No, I did. I had big. Family's really important for that. I remember when I got released from Rangers, it was a couple of months. I had no idea what was happening. Football-wise, which team I was going to be signing for, and a couple of deals fell through. And I was like, I'm not going to get a team here, because it was past, obviously I was a free agent at this point, so it didn't matter, but it was past transfer window. So I was like, nothing was materialising, and luckily Dumbarton signed me in the end. But at that stage, I had no idea what was going on. I was training on my own, thinking, like, maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was, to be honest. So that was hard to take in, but it's just having those people around you to support you, and keep making you focused, and keep doing the right stuff and eating right, etc. And yeah, just eventually it'll work out for you. But it's just important to stay focused in those kind of times where you do have self-doubt, just to keep trying to get better all the time.
I was gutted when I heard
the news. Vodka?
Yeah, it's water. Vodka's later. Very good. What were you saying, Ryan? Sorry?
I said I was gutted when I heard that you way back to Dunfermline.
Yeah, well, that's the season over, isn't it? So it was just a loan move back to Clyde. But we'll have to wait and see, obviously, because I don't want to be on the bench next season if I'm back to Dunfermline. I need to be playing games at my age. So,
what was the playoff cup final like for you as a player?
Oh, it was brilliant. Yeah, I loved every second of it, to be honest. First leg didn't go to plan. The first leg, we were absolutely brilliant for the second half of the season. So to be honest, I didn't have any doubts about that going into that game at all. And then we ended up losing 1-0. And yeah, it was bad after that. And then we're going into the second leg. I knew it was at home. We were still really confident in that, but it was just obviously not the way we intended it to go first legs. But once we got them abroad with it, was I thought it could have been more than 2-0 in the end. And it was brilliant. Atmosphere, the fans were superb that day from first, second game.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, it was. It was great. But no nerves or anything like that. I expected us to win. We should stop doing it on the park. And yeah, luckily we did that.
Good. How do you think Danny's a manager? Do you think he's a good manager?
Yeah, I think he's a brilliant manager, to be fair. He's with me, I think he's a wee bit different to me compared to the rest of the boys. So sometimes I feel like I come off a pitch, sometimes think I've had a great game or whatever, and I might have made like a tiny little error or something. I was saying this to my dad actually yesterday, and I maybe made it one mistake, and the first thing he'll say is about that mistake. He'll never say, well done, you had a great game or anything. He'll always pick out the tiny little details, but at the end of the day, like, see afterwards, you do think about those, maybe that tiny wee mistake you made, and it does make you a better player, I think.
Good.
He's almost like a perfectionist in the way he does it, which at the time it can be frustrating, because I've played 90 minutes here and done everything I can to help the team and thought I played really well, and he's having a go at me, but he's doing it for the right reasons, trying to make it a player.
From a supporter, and obviously I've been involved with the club for a long time, he comes along as a brilliant, gentleman, and you could talk to him and he would talk to you no problem.
Yeah, I found that like the biggest plus with Danny, like, see a lot of previous managers I've had, I find it hard to knock on the door and have a conversation with them about something if something's not going right or something is going right. Anything, I find it quite hard with a lot of managers to be able to speak to them. Every manager has a different way of managing teams as well, but Dan, I really like how I can just speak to Danny about anything. I was on the phone to him yesterday just talking about sending him a pair of football boots, actually, for his son to have. So, like, it's nice just to have a relationship with someone like that, just being able to speak about anything.
Is that why you model yourself on him with the hairstyle?
I just shaved it off the other day. I had enough of it.
You know, Danny's a bit, when we've had Danny in a few times at the college, our boys are doing the college course at Broadwood, and he's come up 2 or 3 times, and the way he speaks to the youth is just inspirational.
Yeah.
Him and Murray, you know, they're so believing in the group of boys that they'll be able to make it to the first team level. And that it comes along as if, look, you can make it. We've got belief in you, and that's what's really good about him as well.
Massive. See, you go to some clubs and the manager doesn't even have a look at any of the youth boys or anything like that, and there's no point really being there as a youth player. Danny is one of those who, if he thinks you're good enough, he'll play you 100%. He has loyalty to the players, but at the same time, if he thinks you're going to benefit the team, he'll definitely play you. Because I remember, when I come back from injury, when was that? Last January, I was on the bench for about 6 or 7 games before that, and I was thinking, I'm not going to get a game here. But I remember the centre half got injured halfway through the first half against Peterhead, and I played well that game. And it would have been easy for him just to put him back in because he was fine the next week. But because I played well, he stayed loyal to me, and that was me then in the team for the rest of the season. So as long as you're performing and as long as you're showing you're working hard, and that he'll play you. He's true to his word. Good.
What was obviously you've been at Rangers Pro Youth, you've been at Birmingham as well. What's that been like, the setup as a youth player?
Yeah, Birmingham was brilliant for me as a youth player. It was right round. I lived 10 minutes away from the training ground, not even. So for me, that was perfect. And they pushed me on as a player. I got Scotland caps when I was at Birmingham, and yeah, it was great. Unfortunately, at the end of the time, I had a couple of little niggles, injuries, and I missed the important last 6 months when my contract was ending. So we'd already agreed, a couple of clubs were interested anyway, and Rangers were being one of them. And they said, listen, the chances are going to be limited for you next season. So what do you think would be best for you? So obviously the decision to go to Rangers it was pretty much of a no-brainer at that point. And then Rangers listen, both clubs are fantastic, like for youth players, young boys, like working away up the ladder, and that is great facilities and everything like that. Obviously both clubs are really hard to actually make an appearance at. You have to be the best player in the academy to get a chance, and then even it's still a tough task to break into a team. So I think as a young boy, to be fair, if I could probably go back in time, it wouldn't have gone to Rangers. It would have gone to a lower club and worked my way up, which I've done obviously since I made it at first team level. I think the best way is just to get first team games under your belt as soon as possible, and that's the only way clubs are then going to be interested in you. There's no clubs are going to be interested if you're playing well and under, you know what I mean? Like, it's all about getting to that first team level, playing as many first team games as possible, and then getting a move from there. So for all the young lads at Clyde, it's just about getting into that team as soon as they can. And then once they're in the Clyde's first team, they'll have scouts watching them week in, week out, I'm sure.
Yeah. No, that's great. Is anybody else got any other questions for Tom?
What would you say is like the biggest difference between boys football and men's football? Like, what hit you like? Oh, I didn't expect that.
Physicality, definitely. I never used to think it was a big deal about being strong, or I used to think, oh, I'm good enough on the ball just to be able to deal with it. So I don't think about it too much like that, mate. But see, at the end of the day, like, see when you've got, for me, obviously I'm a centre half. I'm not sure what position you make.
CDM or centre back.
Yeah, so it's pretty similar, mate. So it's just like, see when you do have, let's say, a 6'4" striker like Christian Nade in the playoffs, for example. That, like, boys football can't really test you like that because you don't know. You never get tested like that. So see, as soon as you can, go to a gym and start working on your power and your strength and your speed and stuff. It's massively important for men's football.
Who's the best opponent you've ever faced?
This was youth level. Renato Sanchez, probably, who went to Bayern Munich. And now I'm not sure where he's at now, but he was absolutely brilliant. It was Scotland U17s. We had Portugal in the Euro finals. And this guy was Ruben Neves, I think, was playing that game as well. But Renato Sanchez stood out a mile. He was so strong. And honestly, like, for a 17-year-old lad, he was built like a man, and it was so good. He was so good.
Who's the best Scottish player you've played against? Or with?
That's a tough one. Well, I'm not sure if he's the best. It's one on the top of my head right now, but I played with Ross McCrory at Rangers, who was centre-half partner, and he was very good. I'd have to get back to you on that one, to be honest. I'm sure I've played with... He was very good. For a young lad at the time, he was a year younger than me, and he's got what it takes to get to that standard, I think.
What's the best stadium you've played at? Is that a silly question?
Embroidered.
Broadwood is the best.
Celtic Park, I was on the bench.
Yeah.
I've never played at Ibrox, so.
Do you have aspirations to play for Rangers again?
Not really, not like.
No.
I wouldn't say. Obviously, I want to play at a high level. Rangers or like SPL team or in England, but not necessarily to play for Rangers. I mean, if that opportunity come about, then obviously I wouldn't say no to it. But no, I'm not bothered about Rangers or like Celtic. I wouldn't. If Celtic come in for me, I wouldn't say no either. So it's just about. It's a career at the end of the day, and I feel like as a young boy, I was like most young boys are, like obsessed with their one team, whatever it may be, and I love Rangers. And growing up, I used to go to the games and that. But at the end of the day, when you play it as a career, it's obviously completely different. And it's about enjoying your football first thing, but obviously it's money involved, and you want to push on to best you're possibly playing at.
I know a question my son wants to know. How fast do you run 5K?
5K. So I got my record 2 days ago, which was 19 minutes and 1 second. But I'm going to beat that. I need to get it below 19 now. But I didn't actually realise it was so close to 19, so I'm probably going to push myself a wee bit further. But yeah, that's the quickest I've got so far.
So where do you think the boys should all be at just now for the 5K?
Oh, I couldn't answer. I wouldn't have a clue what I'd have been at. Because I'd never done like running like that before. I've obviously done like 4 minutes on and off, 4 minutes,
yeah,
4 but I've never done like, obviously these circumstances are different, so I thought I'd give it a go, but I couldn't tell you. I mean, what are you getting at the moment?
I'm getting 22 minutes.
Oh no, that's a good score. That's solid. First time I did it, when all this started, it was like 21, ended like late 21s. So that's just, you can just keep working at it, mate, and I'm sure it'll keep getting better.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, now Tom, you're at Clyde. Well, yeah. What do you feel that the level of training that you're getting just now? Do you think it's a good standard?
At Clyde?
Yes.
Yeah, I actually think it's brilliant. So I obviously went to Dunfermline in the summer, and I was so surprised, like, because it's full time, it is different. So when at Clyde, for example, a Tuesday night would be a hard session. So it would never just be like boxes and then games, which at Dunfermline, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but the intensity is not as high because obviously they're training most days. So it's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So intensity is not as much. At Clyde on a Tuesday night, it's like a hard session. Like you will always be doing some sort of running, whether it's disguise running or whatever it is. You'll always do, you'll have a sweat on anyway. Whereas Dunfermline, like a Monday would be really light because obviously Monday, sometimes most of the time you wouldn't even train on a Monday if you had a game on a Saturday. And then Tuesday would be like quite a hard session, but still not as hard as a Clyde Tuesday night session. Wednesday would be a day off, and then Thursday and Friday would be pretty light going up to the game. But because Clyde only train twice a week, it's tough sessions. So to be honest, I don't actually think there's much difference people argue me with this one, but I've got this. I don't think there's much difference between being part-time and full-time for fitness, because really you're only getting a Friday morning session, which is much different. Because Monday you're not training, Tuesday, Thursday you're training, and then Friday's just a morning session. So really, if anything, I felt fitter the last 6 months of the season going back on loan at Clyde, because the training sessions are so hard. And it's a good standard. It's much better than people would probably expect it to be for a part-time team. But I don't like the saying part-time team either, because these players aren't part-time players. Like, they're good players. Like, obviously, it's just how it is in Scottish football. But they're 100% dedicated to the part-time job. You know what I mean? So.
Obviously, I'm the coach of the 2004s along with George and Scott and Ryan, but that's what we try to tell the boys. The boys will some come in on a Tuesday and they'll go, "What we're doing fitness," and they'll go, "No, but just hearing what you're saying just now, like a tough session a Tuesday night."
I would have been the same. I was a 15-year-old lad. I didn't understand any of the fitness nonsense, to be honest. Like, I was always quite fit, right? But I just thought, like, if you're good in the ball, that's all you need to be. Like, listen, I thought I was better than people on the ball in my position when I was young, but that's nowhere near enough. Like, you can be good in the ball, but you have to have more to your game. Like, I was never really the quickest. I worked to my speed, and now I feel like I'm quicker than most players in my position. That is so important, just for the first few yards of it, like getting the ball and getting on the ball to show what you can do. Like, fitness is massive. If you're fitter than everyone else on the pitch, you've got a head start on everyone already. Eating right is massive as well.
Yeah. Does anybody else got any questions for Tom?
I would just like to ask, I don't know if he's allowed to answer this, but how do you see the leagues panning out at this season?
Well, ours is already decided. The Championship League 1, League 2 is over.
Yeah.
Oh, as in, how do you... Okay, so I understand what you mean. So, I don't know.
I don't mean who'll win them. I mean, how do you think they'll reconstruct, or where do you think the leagues are going?
I think they will, yeah, to be honest. But hopefully it doesn't negatively impact Clyde. I think they're going to change it to a 14, 10, 10. 20, 10, yeah. So I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't think it needs to change at all, really. I think they're only going to be changing it to suit Hearts, to be honest, if they do that. Who knows?
So you don't...
as long as it doesn't affect Clyde, it doesn't matter, I guess. I think if Falkirk went up as well as Rafe, then obviously it'd be less money for the club next season with the gates. But then I think it'd be also a better chance to maybe push for the top of the table next season. I know obviously we finish the season 7th or whatever, but with that squad you've got at the moment, I think it only needs a couple more players and you're looking at a good League One team. So if Falkirk stayed, then obviously they'll be favourites to go up next season. Or no, Partick maybe. I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest with that question. If Partick come down, and you think that, I don't know, because I think how it should be is whoever's bottom now, so Hearts should come down, Partick Thistle should come down, because at the end of the day, I know obviously it's very tough for them, but if you're going to have that rule, if the season's finished and you're saying whoever's first goes up, then surely it's got to be the same for whoever's bottom goes down. So, yeah, that's how I think on that one, to be honest. I think that's it.
It was just in case you had any insight, but obviously you are in the dark as well.
Listen, none of the players, it's a bit of a shambles, to be honest. We can't, because we're all on furlough leave at them firm, we can't even speak to our manager or anything. Like, we're just like in the dark completely. So yeah. We've heard nothing for the last month now.
Do you do a training program with them, Fairman, but you need to put in?
Well, not even. So we downloaded an app called Strava. I'm not sure if you know, it's just a running one.
Yeah.
So, but it's completely ready now because we're in furlough. They can't tell us what to do. So if you don't do it, it doesn't matter. Like, so not all the boys, only a few of the boys are even doing it still. But they told us originally when we first left to log all our details on Strava just when we do our runs. But there's no set program. We've been given like exercises to do to help us, but to be honest, the boys all pretty know, like they should all know like how to keep yourself fit. To be honest, we've been doing it long enough now.
Good. Turning one.
Who's your favourite Rangers player? Nobody else is asking.
I don't know.
Right, you can forget that. I was just trying to...
Probably, well, I'd say the best Rangers player on his day would be Morelos. I wouldn't say, I'm not sure if he's my favourite player. When he's normal and just thinks about football, he's my favourite player probably. But Alan McGregor, very good keeper. You've got Ryan Kent. Rangers have got a good team, but it's just the inconsistency, obviously, since January. But I think, I'd probably say Morelos, probably the best player, my favourite player if he's on his game, as long as he's not messing about getting sent off.
No, we prefer him like that.
Do you still like Steven Gerrard?
Who? But that's not what we call him, but we'll leave that out.
No,
I know,
I'm a Clyde fan now.
I just noticed he's got Liverpool on.
Yeah.
Get out.
That's it. Anyway, like I said, I'm a Clyde fan nowadays. I don't support Rangers. I wouldn't say nowadays. I've still got them close to my heart, but I wouldn't say I support them.
So who was your heroes growing up?
Well, yeah, it would have been Rangers players then.
No, who? But there must have been a player that was your hero growing up, an English player as well.
An English player, wow.
Any player.
See, to be honest, I used to be a striker growing up, so it would have been like Ronaldo and players like that. Cristiano Ronaldo, just how dedicated he was and how he had no nerves coming onto the scene, and just he was absolutely unbelievable. Who else? Barry Ferguson. Loved how he was like with Steven Gerrard. Generals in midfield, I love that. Just no nonsense and carry the teams themselves. Sometimes. Probably them.
So if it came to Messi and Ronaldo, you're a Ronaldo man?
Wow. I'm not sure. I think I prefer Ronaldo's story. I think Messi was always so technically gifted. I love how Ronaldo's, like, when you saw him make his debut at Man United, how like scrawny he was, and obviously he was so gifted as a footballer still. But like, the difference is now, like how much of an athlete he is. He's very respectable in that way. How he's come out of nothing and worked his way to the very top.
So do you think kids for age of maybe 15 to 20 can improve enough? There's still a lot for them to learn.
Yeah. Massively. I think that's the next few years is the biggest time in your career, really, like, is to progress onto the next stage. I think 15 to 18 is when you're still obviously a boy, so you're still technical, obviously always technical work, always, but at the same time now start to really try and get the physical presence to your game as well, and start working on speed and start working on agility and strengthening and stuff like that, because the technical stuff you should be doing anyway, every day, technical stuff, but the other stuff's the extra part which other players might not be doing all the time, so it's important to get an edge on them in that way. But you always got different parts of your career, so for me now it's just about, the next stage for me is pushing on in my career. So I've obviously played it. I played in the championship at Dumbarton, but I was young and I was more just sub appearances, etc. So I need to make a mark in the championship, hopefully next season or whenever it will be soon, and then hopefully once I had a good season in the championship, can push on then and get into the SPL.
That's great, Tom. Thanks very much for your time and joining us tonight. Wish you all the very best in your career. I hope it's Clyde.
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen.
Keep well and keep safe, and enjoy the rest of your time, whatever you're doing. All right.
Thanks very much, Ryan. Right, guys, stay safe.
Right.
Okay. See you all soon.
Cheers, mate.
See you later. Bye.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye-bye. These only ones,